And Harmony for Composers. This is a book that it's really easy to use. If you have it, you can follow along. This is a bilingual book that it's Contrapunto en Armonía para Compositores. The class is going to be in English, but if you speak Spanish, you can follow along. And here is the book. Um, this is the content which I'm going to skip for now, and I'm gonna just read some phrases from the book. What is counterpoint? The term originated from the Latin puntus contra puntus, meaning a point against another point, or a note against another note. In its most general aspect, counterpoint involves the writing of two or more musical lines or melodies that sound very different and move independently from each other, but together make beautiful harmony. That is counterpoint. Harmony, it's a little different. The term harmony derives from the Greek harmonia, meaning joint, agreement, concord. That is exactly what it means. Two or more notes put together to agree on a certain mood. What is cantus firmus? It's a fixed melody. In short, that's what it is. It's just a melody or a song with no other chords or melodies that accompany it. Okay, so we're going to start by learning how to make a cantus firmus or a melody. What are the basic elements of the melody? And we're going to just read a little bit of it. Rhythm and length. The cantus firmus at first must consist of notes of equal rhythm value. First whole notes, then the rest of the time, the rest one at a time, and the end combined them all. So we're going to use whole notes for now, but we're going to use other rhythmic symbols later on. The reason we use whole notes is just to make it simple. It is not the way music is. It has a lot of variations. So this is just for learning purposes. The range of the melody, if the counterpoint cantus firmus is made for human voices rather than instrumental voices, it should not contain intervals larger than an octave. Uh, Dissonant leaps or chromatic half steps. The dissonant leaps include all sevenths, augmented, and diminished intervals. Intervals we can use are major and minor, seconds, thirds and sixths, perfect fourths, fifths, and octaves. Well, this may sound a little complicated, but it's not. We'll see a little later. If the cantus firmus is made for instrumental voicing, additional intervals may be used. For now, we will start with vocal counterpoint. And this book is not focused on a certain era in the counterpoint um, era. It's in general how to use two melodies, thinking about today's necessities. The direction of the melody, the cantus firmus can move gradually ascending or descending by leap, but if it moves by leap, it must resolve in the opposite direction, either gradual or by leap. Two leaps in the same directions are not permitted. When I say something that is not permitted, it doesn't mean it's not permitted forever. It's just a way of gradually showing you what you can do with it. And at first, it's going to be have very strict rules on what to do and what not to do. But I am going to elaborate on that a little later. The balance. It is important to start and end the cantus firmus gradually, not to repeat notes or make long melodies ascending or descending. It is also important to have a climax, either high or low, at about after the middle of the cantus firmus. So this is just to start, but we'll see in a very simple way how to do this. First and last note. We're going to think about a melody, and we're going to think about the first note and the last note. As you see, the notes grade. Like this melody is in the key of C major, and we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, etc. And now on the bottom part, we have a melody. So we start with the root or the fundamental of the scale, and we end with that same thing. If we do that in the key of G, we'll start with G and end with G. And if we do that in the key of D major, we're all using major scales for now. Anything can be used. The key of D, we start with D and we end with D. And okay, now the other thing that we have to worry about is the second to the last note. This is the note that gives us the end, tan tan. This note in counterpoint or in the melody needs to be one of the notes that belong to the 5 chord. Like in the case of C, the scale of C is G, B, D. Like for example, this note is D. It's the 5th of the chord or the second in the scale, or the second note in the scale of C. And in the key of G, we're going to use another note. We're going to use the third note of the 5 chord. And it's also the 7th note in the scale. In the key of D. It can be done in any key, but I'm just showing you a few keys. The key of D, like the A, is the fundamental of the chord, and the 5th note of the scale. And this is how we use it. So, just as a review, the first note has to be the fundamental of the scale, and the second to the last note needs to be one of the notes that belong to the 5 chord. Simple as that. Nothing more than that. For now, there will be some other options in the future. So if you see something different in a melody or something else, just be patient. Okay, now we're gonna have learn how to write the rest of the notes, which I call the body of the melody. So these notes could be just about anything, following the rules that we just talked about. Like for example, we're gonna do like an ascending melody, and then go to the other direction, and then we can make a leap. But if we do make a leap, we need to go to the opposite direction to resolve the leap, and we can follow on the same direction or go up or whatever. In this case, we went down. G, F, E, D, C. So in this other example, in the key of G, we started with G. We use one of the notes that belongs to the 5 chord, which is D, F sharp, A. In this case, we have F sharp, and the rest of the notes is just a melody. G, A, G, B. We started gradually and then went back to the fundamental, and then we made a leap, and then we resolved it in the opposite direction, and then we went up and then down, and then we made another leap, and then we resolved at the fundamental of the scale. Okay, in this other example, in the key of D major, we started with D. We use one of the 5 notes in the 5 chord, in this case, the fundamental. And then we did another melody, a little different, just to make a small variation, but we started going up and then down gradually, and then we made a leap, and then we went down. And then we also made another leap on this E to A, and then we finished with the note D. So this is how you make the melody, which is very simple for now. Don't Don't try to make anything very complicated or modulate or write any notes that don't belong to the scale for now. It can be done in the future, and I'm going to show you how to do just about anything, but you have to gradually learn these terms just to have so you have a foundation, and then you can do just about anything. Okay. Uh, this is a phrase that I made up. It's two are better than one, but there is no two without compat compatibility issues. Here are some suggested rules that will help you achieve beauty and happiness. It's just like two people in one place. Uh, there will be some issues that you need to kind of rules that you have to follow in order to have a perfect harmony and have peace and sound good. So the same goes with the melodies. It's just like two people talking. They have to respect each other, the space, and they have to make comments that are good with each other. Okay, so this is the first lesson. I'm not going to go deep in this case. I'm going to stop here. But the second lesson, I'm going to show you how to write a second voice. This is, I just show you how to write the one melody. The next time, we are going to do the second voice. And the second voice is going to be uh, by species. We call it the first species, one note against another note, and then two notes against one note. In this case, it's whole notes against whole notes, but it could be a half note against a half note, and I'm going to show you how also. So in this case, two notes against one, it does not necessarily need to be the same equal value to have notes against the whole note. It could be other variations, and I will show you how to. Four notes against one is the third species. It could be three, it could be five, it could be seven, it could be any number of notes against one. The fourth species, which is syncopated harmony and rhythm. And we're going to use variation of rhythms also. And florid, which means everything, everything against one note, or any combination of the previous species against one note. Having the melody on the bottom and the counterpoint on the top, or the melody on the top and the counterpoint on the bottom. And that's what CF means. Um, the melody, cantus firmus, and CP means counterpoint. Then after that, we're going to learn how to modulate, how to go from one key to the other, and how to imitate voices, how to do lots of very fun things. So this is it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please write them on the comments and I will be happy to answer them. Remember, this is the book Counterpoint and Harmony for Composers. And you'll be amazed as how easy it is. No complicated stuff. So I hope to see you next time and I hope you enjoy it.